right, so get ready, because today we're doing a deep dive on something that might just make you rethink where you put your phone down. We're going to be talking about all those like regular everyday places that could actually secretly be danger zones for your phone. Like, would you ever think that your kitchen could wreck your phone?
It really is interesting how we always think about like dropping our phones or spilling something on them or even, software glitches and stuff. But we never really think about how extreme temperatures could affect them.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. Our source material for this deep dive is this YouTube video from a phone repair shop in Sydney, Australia. And it's not like a typical, how to fix a cracked screen video. It's more like they're giving us a look behind the scenes and showing us how crazy the damage can be from extreme heat. The goal for us today is to arm you with all the knowledge you need so you can protect your phone from, hidden heat damage. This could seriously save you from a really expensive repair or, even losing all your data.
So in this video, they have this Google Pixel 7a that someone brought in to get repaired. And the damage wasn't a cracked screen or water damage or anything like that. The adhesive that holds the entire phone together actually melted. And get this, the reason it melted was because the owner was using it in a super hot kitchen.
Melted adhesive? That's wild. So what happened to the phone?
Well, the screen popped off and the touch functionality was totally gone. The technician in the video even thought the display itself might be damaged because of all the heat. This isn't just a little cosmetic issue either. It's a major malfunction.
Wow. So it's not just that the adhesive turns into goo, the whole phone is messed up. So what exactly is happening to the adhesive when it gets that hot?
So adhesives are designed to only handle a certain temperature range, right? Different types have different melting points. When they're exposed to too much heat, they can soften or weaken or even totally melt. Imagine the foundation of a building is crumbling. That's basically what's happening to the structure of your phone.
Okay, so picture this. It's like a scorching hot summer day and your phone is sitting on the dashboard of your car. What happens to the adhesive then?
Oh, that's a disaster waiting to happen. The inside of a car on a hot day can get way hotter than your phone's adhesive can handle. It's like you're baking your phone in an oven. You're slowly but surely destroying its structure.
And it's not just car dashboards, right? There are other places where phones can get dangerously hot too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about leaving your phone in a bag on a hot beach or in your pocket when you're working out, or even near a heater vent in the winter. Any place that traps heat is bad news for your phone's adhesive, and that means bad news for your entire phone. And remember, even if the adhesive doesn't completely melt, that repeated exposure to high temperatures will weaken it over time, which means your phone is much more likely to break if you drop it, or even if you just put a little bit of pressure on it.
Okay, so we've talked about how heat is bad for the adhesive. But what about the other parts of the phone? It can't just be the glue that suffers, right?
Yeah, you're right. Extreme heat can totally mess up your phone's battery and display too.
So let's start with the battery. How does heat affect that?
Well, too much heat can speed up battery degradation. Basically, it shortens its lifespan. You might notice that your battery dies way faster than usual, or it might not even be able to hold a charge at all. And in really extreme cases, the battery could even overheat and swell up, which is a huge safety hazard.
Oh, wow, that's scary. What about the display? How does heat damage the screen?
So both LCD and OLED screens can be damaged by heat. Those are the two main types of displays used in smartphones. Too much heat can cause discoloration or dead pixels, or even make the touch sensitivity get all messed up. You might start seeing weird lines or blotches on the screen, or the touch response might be super laggy or inaccurate.
So we're talking about all sorts of problems, from little cosmetic things to major malfunctions. Seems like the heat just stresses out all the sensitive electronic parts.
Exactly. And it's not even just about avoiding super high heat, it's about making sure your phone stays within the safe operating temperature range, which is different for every phone model. The manufacturers usually put that information in the little instruction booklet that nobody ever reads.
Okay, yeah, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I never read those manuals. So is there somewhere else we can find that information? If we don't have the manual?
Yeah, you can usually find it on the manufacturer's website. Or you can just do a quick Google search for your phone model and operating temperature range.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's important to know the safe temperature range for your phone.
Yeah.
But going back to that video from the repair shop for a sec, the technician was replacing the melted adhesive. Did he say anything about how to prevent that from happening again?
Oh yeah, he did. He said he was going to use an adhesive that's made to withstand kitchen heat, which I thought was really interesting. It shows that, like, even the professionals think about this stuff when they're repairing phones. It's not just about fixing the problem in front of them. It's about understanding how the person is going to use their phone and choosing materials that can handle that.
That's a really good point. So even if you have to take your phone in for a repair, it's worth mentioning like how you typically use it. They might be able to recommend some specific things to make your phone more durable.
Exactly. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some practical tips to prevent heat damage. Like, what are some things our listeners can do to keep their phones safe?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just avoiding those obvious heat traps that we already talked about, like car dashboards and hot beaches in your pocket while you're working out. But what are some of the less obvious ones?
That's a great question. Think about things like leaving your phone by a window that gets a lot of direct sunlight, or putting it on top of your laptop while it's running, or even charging it under your pillow.
Charging it under my pillow. Oh, I've totally done that.
Yeah, it's a super common thing to do, but it can trap all the heat and your phone can't ventilate properly. It's always best to charge your phone in a well-ventilated area and keep it away from anything that's giving off heat.
Okay, good tip. What about phone cases? Do they offer any protection from the heat?
Well, cases can be kind of tricky. Some cases, especially the ones that are thick and made out of insulating material, they can actually make the problem worse because they trap heat.
So it's like a little sauna for your phone.
Exactly. If you live in a hot place or you use your phone a lot in warm environments, you should try to find a case that has some ventilation or that's made out of material that dissipates heat.
So it's not just about protecting your phone from drops and scratches.
Yeah.
You also have to make sure your case isn't turning it into a mini oven.
Exactly. And while we're talking about heat generation, let's talk about all those apps and games that use a lot of power. If you're doing something demanding on your phone, like gaming or streaming video, especially in a hot environment, it's like you're making your phone work out in a sauna.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for overheating.
It definitely is. It's important to give your phone a break and let it cool down. Even short exposures to extreme heat can add up and cause damage over time. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back. But for your phone...
That's a great analogy. So even if you're not seeing any damage right away, all those little heat exposures can eventually cause problems.
Exactly, and I know we sound like a broken record, but backing up your data regularly is super important. If your phone does get damaged by heat, at least you'll have all your photos and videos and contacts safe.
It's like insurance for your digital memories.
Exactly. Now here's something to think about. Have you ever noticed that your phone sometimes feels warm, even when you haven't been using it?
Yeah, actually I have. Especially when it's charging or downloading something big, it's like it has a fever.
Well, that's because even normal phone operations generate heat. It's important to be aware of that and manage your phone's workload, especially in warm environments. Try not to run a bunch of demanding apps at the same time, and try to limit things like video streaming or gaming when your phone is already warm.
So even things that seem totally innocent can contribute to the heat buildup. It's all about paying attention to your phone's temperature and making sure it doesn't overheat.
Absolutely. So now let's focus on some of the specific components that are really vulnerable to heat. We already talked about the battery and display, but there's another important one, the processor.
The brain of the phone?
Yep, exactly. The processor handles all the complex calculations that make your phone run smoothly. But like anything that works hard, it generates heat. And when it's exposed to too much heat from the outside, it can have trouble keeping up. That can lead to performance issues and sluggishness and even crashes.
Like your phone is having a mental breakdown.
That's one way to put it. But yeah, too much heat can really put a strain on the processor, and it can affect its performance and how long it lasts.
So what can we do to protect our phone's processor?
Well, besides avoiding those heat traps we talked about earlier, there are a few other things you can do. First, pay attention to the apps you're using. If you notice your phone getting really hot, especially when you're using a specific app, it might be a sign that the app is putting too much stress on the processor.
So it's like you're asking your brain to solve complex equations in a sauna.
Exactly. Give your phone and its processor a break. Close any demanding apps and turn down the screen brightness. Just let it cool down for a bit.
And what about those software updates? Do they help with heat management at all?
Oh, for sure. Phone manufacturers are always trying to improve their devices' performance and efficiency, and that includes heat management. Software updates often have optimizations that can help regulate the temperature and prevent overheating.
So those annoying update notifications might actually be doing us a favor.
In this case, yeah. Keeping your phone's software up to date is one of the easiest and most effective ways to keep it running smoothly and make it last longer.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today. We talked about the dangers of heat and the parts of the phone that are most vulnerable, and we even gave some practical tips to protect our phones.
Right. But before we wrap things up, I want to emphasize one really important point. Prevention is key.
I totally agree. It's always better to be safe than sorry. And speaking of being sorry, let's talk about what to do if your phone does overheat. What's the first aid for an overheated phone? So let's say like my phone is burning up. What should I do?
Okay, so the first thing you got to do is stop using it.
Like immediately.
Yeah, right away.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, the more you use it, the worse it's going to get. The heat builds up over time, so you got to give it a break so it can cool down.
Okay, so phone's off now. What?
You should take off any case or cover it has. That'll help it cool down faster.
Got it. No more phone sauna.
Exactly. And then find a cool spot for it. Somewhere with good ventilation, away from direct sunlight or heat.
So basically not the dashboard of my car.
Definitely not. And whenever you do, don't dunk it in cold water or put it in the freezer.
I was going to say, that sounds pretty tempting, but I guess it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it is. When the temperature changes that quickly, it can cause condensation inside your phone, and that can damage the components. It's like going from a sauna to an ice bath. It's a huge shock to the system. Just be patient and let it cool down on its own in a safe place.
Okay, so no extreme measures, just patience and a cool spot. But what if it doesn't cool down? Or what if it keeps acting weird, like the battery swelling up or the screen changing colors?
If that happens, or if it keeps overheating even after you do all that stuff, you should probably take it to a professional.
So I shouldn't try to fix it myself.
Yeah, it's better to leave it to the experts. They have the tools and knowledge to figure out what's wrong and how to fix it. Remember that video we were talking about earlier where the adhesive melted in the hot kitchen? That's a perfect example of how places that seem totally harmless can actually be dangerous for our phones.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we need to be aware of our phone's surroundings and protect them from extreme temperatures. And that means both hot and cold.
Absolutely. And here's something to think about. If our phones are so sensitive to heat, what about all our other electronic devices, like laptops and tablets and smartwatches? They all have those same delicate components that can be damaged by heat.
So all the things we talked about today for protecting our phones apply to our other devices too. We just need to be aware of the temperature and make sure we're keeping them safe so they can keep working properly.
Exactly. A little bit of awareness and prevention can go a long way. It can save you from having to pay for expensive repairs or from losing all your important data. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope you learned something new and that you'll take some steps to protect your valuable devices.
Thanks for listening.
If you want your smartphone fixed for a very reasonable price, you may contact Sydney CBD Repair Center. We also provide mail-in repair services for customers outside of Australia or Sydney. Just message us so we can arrange the shipping of your device.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious, you think you're worth my time.